The last thing I'd be, if I saw somebody playing like this, is impressed. I would be sad. I'd be like, what was your childhood like? Where were you raised? In a barn? Surely your parents weren't around. You're playing guitar like this? As far as guitar goes, I'm basically looking at a feral child. You just don't even know how to hold a fork. You don't know how to do anything. So yeah, of course everybody hated that. You probably shredded for like 10 minutes straight. And then you're like, what? People don't want to just bask in my shredding for hours on end? And they'd rather listen to Ed Sheeran, someone who's telling a story in a language they can understand. That's what you should learn from that. What is it that makes Ed Sheeran appealing to your dumb family? And try to put that into your guitar playing. Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the reaction log. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, we got a special spicy one here for you today. Of course, as usual. So, this is a casually explained video, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard that. Popular YouTube name right there. Trying to siphon some of those sweet, lucrative views over here to little sore hands. I know, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully that didn't turn you off from watching the rest of this video. Please stay. I do have things to say, which first off, what am I? I'm a classical guitarist here on YouTube. There's so many things that can mean, but the most important thing is that I know what I'm talking about. And just to get into it, the thumbnail of this video really confused me. It features Polyphia's Tim Henson sucks, arrow, and with the title being Good Guitar Isn't Impressive Guitar, that is implying to me that we're calling Tim Henson good guitar, but we're saying that he isn't impressive. Which is interesting, because if I think of good guitar, I would look more at, like, I don't know, Bream Team, Julian Bream, David Russell, you know, the good stuff. I don't consider Polyphia to be like the pinnacle of what's good, you know, and it's so good that most people can't even comprehend it and they don't find it impressive anymore. I would consider that to be like the mainstream good, while the kind of guitar that I like, classical guitar, that's what I mentioned in the beginning, that's what people aren't impressed by, but it's so good. It's so good that it'll take your whole lifetime. It can take several lifetimes and you still can't even play Lagrimo that well. That's how hard classical guitar is. Listen, my point is, I'm coming into this video with a perspective. It's one that I don't think is held very often, which is the classical elitist snob, and my goal is to miss the point of this video entirely and inject my own opinions into it. Without further ado, let's jump on into it, shall we?
So this morning, it occurred to me.
Whoa. Are you allowed to just display yourself on YouTube as a stick figure drawing? Should I have done that? Maybe that would have saved my classical career if I had done that, instead of like embarrassing myself on the most popular video platform on earth. I wonder how all the professors feel about me. I should have just been a stick figure. I wish I consulted you when I started off. Oh well.
Good guitar is not the same as...
I'm sorry, who is that? Is this who we're representing as good guitar? Who is this, like Jack Johnson or something? I don't even know who this is. It might be. Let me look up. I haven't done any research. Jack Johnson. Oh my god, am I right? That's literally Jack Johnson. Dude, I freaking killed that. What do you guys prefer? Jack Johnson long hair? I think I do, for sure. Versus that? Dude, time to grow that out, man. Honestly, your long hair, it's not even nearly long enough if you want to be a rock star. Dude, I can't believe. That's kind of embarrassing that I got that, actually. I'm sorry about that, guys. So that's our representative of good guitar. Interesting choice.
Guitar is not the same as impressive guitar.
And then whoever this is someone's, like, stepdad, I assume. Is this impressive guitar? I ain't impressed by this. Why is the head cut off? What am I looking at here? You know how people will play, like, either on their leg or they'll play in classical position? This is, like, the opposite of classical position. Dude, the last thing I'd be, if I saw somebody playing like this, is impressed. I would be sad. I'd be like, what was your childhood like? Where were you raised? In a barn? Surely your parents weren't around. You're playing guitar like this? This is like that kid that was raised by wolves. As far as guitar goes, I'm basically looking at a feral child. You just don't even know how to hold a fork. You don't know how to do anything. This is upsetting to see.
It follows this curve, a guitar curve.
I'm so happy to hear they named that curve after guitars. That fills me with pride.
At bottom, you have no skill. That's not impressive.
Hey, according to the comments, that's me right there. No skill.
And then a little bit further up, you know the basics. Maybe you can play like a few chords.
Here's E minor. At least he knows the name of the chord. That's good enough.
Might even be able to play a riff, like Seven Nation Army or something. And you'll notice it impresses some people. Like,
all right, I feel like I should break out my guitar. I feel like I haven't broken the guitar out in a reaction video in a while. I haven't been live streaming as much because if you've been diligently watching, I'm in the process of moving. And live streaming is just not something I can do unless my life is stable. So, you know, I want to break out the guitar every once in a while now. Some people That's some of you right now. I assume this graph isn't representative of population. Imagine if we lived in a world where that was the no-skill people on guitar. This is the world I do want to live in. What a beautiful thing that is. That would bring a tear to my eye.
So maybe you can play like a few chords. You might even be able to play a riff, like Seven Nation Army or something.
All right, well, let's actually see. I always consider me and everyone watching in the intermediate rut. So, the basics. One finger. One finger on this hand, too.
You'll notice it impresses some people, like maybe your mom.
Like you guys watching. I bet that impressed a lot of you. Hey, sign up for guitar lessons. I'll teach you how to play Seven Nation Army. Just kidding. I will never, ever teach you that.
Who's like, wow.
Also, I'm not taking new students. Sorry.
Wow, the thing I created can now create. Amazing. But yeah, you're not
Yeah, if I want to impress my mom, I'm just going to learn how to play Oceans.
really impressing anyone for a little while until you get to this point where you know campfire chords.
You know, I know them as cowboy chords, but something to think about. Campfire chords are the chords that you bring to the campfire. If you really want to freak everyone out at the campfire, forget your capo and bust out that G major chord on A. That's how you dominate a campfire right there.
Suspiciously close to the top. And the reason for that is you're impressing everyone who doesn't play music. If people don't know anything about music and your music sounds like music, they're like, are you Ed Sheeran? But that's only if you can sing. If you can't sing, you're pretty much still just at your mom. And then once you move a little bit further up, it's because you're starting to specialize. And at that point, you start to impress everyone who doesn't play the exact same style as you. So if you play jazz, even if you're not that good, you're still going to impress people who play metal. And if you play metal, you're still going to impress people who play fingerstyle. As long as you can do something that other people can't do, they're gonna think you're pretty good. You can still get a whole lot better at guitar, but you don't really get any more impressive. You start to be too good where people can't really tell the difference between you and a slightly worse person unless they're as good or better than you are, in which case they're not even impressed because they're like, well, I can do that, and also you're doing it wrong. And then everyone below you just doesn't really get it. They're like,
wow, this is such a jaded way to look at music, isn't it? You know what I find impressive as a musician and a guitarist? I find it impressive when I can get lost in the story of whatever is being played. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be jazz, it can be rock, it can be classical, of course, the greatest of all those genres. But this is possible in every genre. If you're able to tell a story and get me lost in real time in that story that you're telling, that is the gift of music. I don't care how technically impressive or good you are. That is what everybody wants to listen to. That can come in many forms. That can come with people relating to your lyrics or whatever. That can also come with literally telling a story with notes, which is possible. I know a lot of you listening are like, how do you tell a story with just notes? That doesn't make any sense. It can be done, and, you know, I know a lot of you are music lovers. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I feel like looking at guitar in the skill equals technical impressiveness lens is something that I would have done in high school, but I no longer do now. That's just me. That seems to be the thesis of this minute and 44-second video, which is fine, but, you know, I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
oh, that's fast. Is that hard?
The music is lost then, if you're looking at the speed or the technical precision and being impressed by that. Not that it's not cool, because it is cool, and there's definitely a time and a place for it. But it's the story, man. The story.
You won't really enjoy your playing, and then the people who are really good will resent you. But you will notice that you're still going to be slightly above the people with no skill at all. And that's because your mom will still support you, depending on how much money you've spent.
Yeah, so I don't know. Is there anything else to say on that? This is a really short video, isn't it? Let's look at some of these comments, and then we'll put a cap on this thing. How many guitarists does it take to change a light bulb? 100. One to change the bulb and the other 99 to stand around and say, I could have done that. Why stop at 100 in that case? 1,000,000 guitarists, why not? This I could have done that comes up in all art forms, and where I hear it the most is modern art. When you go to a museum with like your aunt or whoever, you know, just a generic person who doesn't get art. No shade on my aunt personally, I'm just pulling that example out of nowhere. Or actually, uncle is probably more realistic, honestly. The like, oh, like anybody could do this. It's just paint on a canvas, who cares? But yeah, this idea comes up a lot, and I think the more important thing to kind of notice from this is, well, would you want to do that? Because, you know, that's why people make art. in general because they want to, then the answer will be no, because it's a waste of time for them. In which case, I don't know what to say to that. Sorry, I have no point, no conclusion to that, but I'm just saying, it's just something that comes up a lot. I remember playing a broken version of the Crazy Train riff for my in-laws, and everyone loved it. Dude, you had some nice in-laws. Are you kidding me? Year after that, I played a bunch of solos and shredding, and literally everyone ignored me and started playing Ed Sheeran really loud on Bluetooth speaker. Alright, first off, they loved Crazy Train because he played a broken version of it that probably lasted 15 seconds. You didn't play the whole song, I imagine. And you were shredding solos, like the dumbest part of rock songs, honestly. Like, it's rare to find an actual good solo in rock music, I feel. Like, any music that utilizes shredding, like electric guitar distorted shredding, the solo is usually the dumbest part of the song, and was also my favorite part of the song when I was a kid. So yeah, of course everybody hated that. You probably shredded for like 10 minutes straight, and then you're like, what, people don't want to just bask in my shredding for hours on end, and they'd rather listen to Ed Sheeran, someone who's telling a story in a language they can understand. That's what you should learn from that. What is it that makes Ed Sheeran appealing to your dumb family, and try to put that into your guitar playing, and you might find that it might involve slowing down and telling a story with the notes. When music starts feeling like an athletic event, I start to tune out. With the whole music being an athletic event, here's an analogy for you. Let's take another form of storytelling, like film, for example. There are techniques in film and filming things that are challenging to do. I don't know what they are. Like, I don't know, just like a panning shot where somebody has to like do a thing in a particular way, and it's just hard to do precisely. That is what the shredding is on guitar. And if you're watching a scene in a movie that was just doing that for the sake of doing it, and the scene didn't require it at all, or they weren't using it in a way that made sense, it would probably be annoying to sit through. What's really cool is when they use that, and you had to use that to tell the story in this way. And that's when you get something really magical. And that's what I see when I listen to classical music, when I see something really athletic and well executed, like when I, watch David Russell play, or listen to him rather. I try to listen more than I watch. But when you watch him play, it is crazy and athletic and required. And the music he's playing isn't about how hard it is to play, but it is hard to play, but, ideally it looks easy. And that shouldn't be the focus of it. Once you get past generally competent, you're really only impressing other musicians. I don't know, I'm reading through a lot of these comments, and I'm seeing a lot of lost souls. It's a lot of people equating good and shredding as if shredding is even hard. I think that's the problem, because learning how to shred on guitar, like to truly just shred, it takes, 5 years, especially if you're a teenager, and then people equate that to something that's so hard to achieve. But really, the hardest thing to achieve is to actually make good music that people want to listen to. And everyone's complaining because nobody wants to listen to their crappy shredding, and they just don't get it. It's not the world that's wrong. When the world says they don't want to listen to you shred, it's not everyone else that's wrong, it's you that's wrong. It's you trying to impose your thoughtless shredding on everyone else, and you're getting upset when nobody wants to hear it. But listening to music is not charity work. People should want to listen to it because they hear it and they become obsessed with it and they want to hear more of it. Music shouldn't be hard to listen to. It shouldn't be a challenge to listen to. It should be interesting. It's a story. And again, I'm seeing a lot of people here who have perfected, which I'm sure they're sloppy when they shred too, but they can shred to some degree, and they're just upset that nobody wants to listen to them. But guess what? That's not good or impressive to me. That's where we're ending this. I don't know. I feel like I kind of went all over the place with this one. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully this video gave you something to think about, though. That pretty much covers that one. This is my reaction to a video that's 1 minute and 44 seconds long. Let me know if you have any opinions about anything that I said in the comments, of course. And yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Hey, want some guitar lessons? Like I said, I'm not taking new students. I haven't been for a long time, and I'm starting school soon, so I probably still won't. I'm sorry. But feel free to email me if you just want to say something to me, and of course, leave it in a comment too. Hey, head on down over to Rootin's Delight for some merch. Patreon, there's live streams. I'll start doing those in a week or so once I get done moving, and there's the member section, of course, if you want to support me in that way. Alright, well, I'll see you in the next one.